Last time on Bloodlines, Goten and Trunks were finally able to come of age and find themselves in their teenage years. Then after a powerful rogue appeared who looked like she could be the sister of Lord Beerus, a familiar face, or familiar to us at least, would attempt to chase her down. Unable to defeat her, the boys came to terms they needed to improve their abilities to protect the Earth and went their separate ways. Goten initially planned to start from square one and train with Master Roshi, but was instead matched with Yamcha after discovering he inherited the Turtle School, while something in Trunks' mind compels him to track down Tapion. Meanwhile, with Trunks, still trying to hunt down the mysterious visitor, he wonders where he could be going. Apparently, he's not in a hurry or anything. Trunks notices he's gaining on him pretty fast, which means he must have landed somewhere. Sensing his general location, a soothing timbre takes his attention. Trunks steps on and snaps a small branch, interrupting the jam session. With the small animals running away, Tapion scowls. That's the second time today he has interrupted him. Clearly nervous, our hero tries to apologize that he didn't mean to interrupt him either time. The stranger interjects that Melody is going to help him find her, referring to the female member of Beerus' race named Lada. Continuing his sorries, Trunks introduces himself and tries to explain he just wanted to thank the man for saving he and Goten earlier. She really caught him off guard, but why did he jump in to help anyway? Relenting, Tapion merely mutters that Trunks is welcome, before also introducing himself. He tells how he is only trying to prevent her from doing any more harm than she's already done, meaning he does know her. Figuring it would be best to just be honest, Tapion admits this is true, and the two of them are from a different universe, which is something our hero only knows the minimum of, though it wouldn't be the first time he's heard of something like this happening. But why is he here? Why this universe in particular? Simply put, he was just following her and this is where she happened to travel to. She's searching for a relic that she thinks will help her avenge their fallen master. Again with the over-politeness, Trunks apologizes if he offended him, and he's also sorry for his loss. But may he ask what happened to his master? He doesn't know all the details, though she did something that got his master killed. Now she'll stop at nothing to fix it, and Tapion won't allow her to claim any more lives in her maddening quest to silence her own guilt. And during a short moment of quietness, Trunks pleads for Tapion to let him help find her, even stop her if they have to. He knows he can. With a smile, the visitor quips that Trunks said he and that other kid were defenders of the planet, correct? That reminds himself of his early years. So full of blind arrogance while also so full of hope. That's something a lot of people lose along the way. Trunks should know that she wasn't always like this. Misplaced arrogance and misunderstanding can truly blind someone, turn them into something they're not. It can push them to do unspeakable things to attain their goals. Selfish pride is always a path to darkness. A statement that reminds him of his father. Though he was really young at the time, it rings all too true in the young warrior's mind. He tells Tapion that he has known that darkness and felt it firsthand. It's terrible. But if he truly does know that darkness, then he also knows what it's capable of. He asks Trunks if he's really the type of warrior to rush into battle head first without knowing anything about his opponent. So that's why he's here. It's not merely just to offer his gratitude from earlier. A little tongue-tied, Tapion continues. He stresses reconnaissance as something he must take to heart. Have a mentality that the enemy of my enemy is my friend. He then reveals the origin of not only himself and Lada, but their respective people. They shared a planet together. Lada's race, the Anubians, were a wealthy cat-like civilization, while living in their shadows, Tapions, known as the Kanatsians, Their planet was called Anubia. There was an understanding between the two peoples. The natives agreed to help the Genocians by sharing their planet with them. His own homeworld was decimated by a mighty cataclysm. The few thousands that managed to escape beforehand ended up there by a simple stroke of luck. Over time, relations would sour. Altercations between the races began occurring on a daily basis. Anubians began executing Genocians publicly as sentences for even non-violent crimes such as stealing. Genocians were shot dead in the streets in broad daylight. As time went by, rebellions brewed everywhere, and before they all knew it, it became an all-out war. Looking back, it was nothing short of genocide. He himself was only a child at the time, and the fallout of it all, he would find his own parents among the fallen. But her father, Lada's father, their master, took him in. He couldn't have been more than 4 years old at the time. But he trained Tapion every single day. More than once, the boy collapsed from exhaustion. He had the best warriors train Lada, and he made it seem like the two of them were special, like they had a purpose. But that's a story for another time. He mentions that they could use some more allies in the fight ahead. He knows that Trunks has potential, but after having witnessed he and his friend fight Lada, Trunks interrupts. He assures Tapion that he wants to help him, though he knows he isn't strong enough yet. With his help, he knows he could reach the next level. His specific word choice piques the visitor's interest. What does he mean by next level? Which is kind of complicated for the Saiyan to explain. He understands if he's hesitant to help, but he wants to see everything he's got. Tapion instructs Trunks to dig deep and display his full power. And if that's what he wants, that's something the young fighter can do. Giving it his all, Trunks knows that he has more in him. He has to. But even as he is currently, Tapion finds this absolutely astounding. And to think this isn't even what the boy refers to as the next level. He just might be able to pass the test after all. Although his energy might be great. The Otherworlder notices immediately what Goku did when training to beat Cell. Those muscles are going to do nothing but slow him down. Still trying to reach for more, Trunks thinks of his mother, and Bola, his friends. He needs to push himself further beyond. If he can't get strong enough, he will be helpless to protect the people he loves, let alone this entire world. Briefly seeming to tap into Super Saiyan 2, Trunks' body gives out and he collapses. But just for a split second, his ki doubled. The life forms of this planet have gotten Tapion's attention. Meanwhile, on Beerus' planet, not only Goku and Vegeta, also Gohan, though he suggests the pair be careful out there, hinting that he'll be staying here while they go out on their own adventure. Whatever they're about to embark on, Vegeta's left being his cranky self. Goku happily tells his son that he better have reached at least Super Saiyan God by the time they return. It's going to be really exciting to get to train with him again. He assures he'll be ready. After a lot of back and forth on whether Gohan is going to stick to his word, it looks like he's finally fully committed and will undergo the same training under Whis that his elders did. Screaming for Lord Beerus, he awakens from his nap, really pressing his luck. The Saiyan then bellows if the Destroyer keeps sleeping like that, then he's gonna have a lot of catching up to do when they get back. Which is just the thing to press his buttons. Yelling back at him, Goku once again finds a way to troll the God of Destruction. He and Vegeta have already taken off to wherever they're going. At first annoyed before letting it go, Beerus scratches his head and asks, "Hey, Gohan, isn't it?" He hopes Goku's firstborn is ready, because the Destroyer is in need of a new punching bag. Leading to a bit of a meek reaction. Though here, we get to see Whis' insignia on his gi. Beerus does have to admit though, He sure is glad those Saiyans got rid of those ridiculous beards. With nothing else stopping him, Whis turns to his new people and questions if he's ready to resume. Who's eager to get started? Just where are our iconic duo heading off to? It looks like they've decided to cruise the multiverse in Bulma's brand new ship, in search of the strongest fighters around. We'll get to see all about this in the side story, The Odyssey of Goku and Vegeta. Their first encounter might surprise you. Until then, we wonder what has become of our new heroes to be. How far does Yamcha's strength go, and how far will he be able to push Goten? Likewise for Tapion and Trunks. And of course, will Gohan somehow be able to merge his ultimate form with Super Saiyan God? Somewhere in the wild. After gassing himself to his limit to show Tapion the extent of his power, it's been hours since Trunks lost consciousness. Jumping awake, the Elven warrior asks if he's alright. That was a pretty impressive display of power he just showed him. As he gets his bearings and gathers his thoughts, Trunks states he's fine. And while his power may be impressive, it still won't be enough though. Not enough to defend Earth, and not enough to step up to Lada again. A problem his counterpart may just have a solution to, drawing attention to his ocarina. Something we already know. This is no ordinary aerophone instrument. He explains how it was given to him by his master. If one plays the right sequence of notes, anything is possible. All of reality is based on frequencies and vibrations. Using this, what could essentially be referred to as string theory hack, Tapion can manipulate reality itself, at least to a certain extent. He'll now test Trunks to see how far he's really willing to go in order to save everything and everyone he loves. Pass this trial, and he agrees to teach the Saiyan everything he knows. But is he ready? Trunks comes to in a strange place as Tapion finishes his song. But where is he? There's nothing around him for miles, and it's all white, kind of like the Room of Spirit and Time. When a voice calls out to him shouting,
"You seek power."
A silhouette of who appears to be Beerus continues. He claims that Trunks seeks greatness. He feels slighted and feels hatred, all to prove something to others. That is the path of the fallen righteous. Those who would do anything to attain their goal. The figure gets in his face and states that if he keeps following this path, it'll destroy him. Does the boy understand? Rather than listening, something compels our hero to power up to Super Saiyan.
Defeat another. If you cannot defeat yourself, striking back, Trunks bellows. No, he doesn't have to prove himself to anyone. Just to himself. He has to prove to himself that he can do this. Upon his ki blast colliding and exploding with his adversary, Tapion calls out for Trunks to stop, assuring that is enough. He's passed his test. Revealing a figure that resembles Lada, the cat-like invader from before. But it's not her. Instead, it's her father and Tapion's master. Returning to reality, the young fighter is clearly confused by what just happened. When Tapion begins to offer some exposition, He too actually finds this a bit strange, but only because Master Gen said those exact words to Lada before he died. Anyway, the lesson here is that Trunks doesn't have to prove anything to anyone. He is powerful, but he is also very smart, so they'll work with that. Returning to Super Saiyan, the son of Vegeta is as fired up as ever. Smirking, he informs his teacher that he's ready. What kind of training will the pair do, and how will it differ from Goten and Yamcha? Also, we're left only to speculate exactly how powerful this Jin character truly is. Though, one could only assume that if he trained a warrior and produced an offspring like Lada, he likely would have held his own against just about anyone. Speaking of Goten and Yamcha, the duo finds himself north of West City, on the southeastern summit. Panning down to Goten, Yamcha wants him to listen carefully. But getting a good look at him beforehand, it appears they've already been up to some training today, or maybe it's just this wasteland heat. Either way, the Wolf Master stretches and boasts how it took him quite some time to master this technique. But after many years of hard work, sweat, blood, and tears, he has finally come to master the Kaioken. Letting his power flow, the force Goten feels is unlike anything displayed by a human fighter before. This has taken his new master into completely uncharted territory. Well, for anyone who isn't an alien at least. Regardless, Goten happily chortles, that's so cool! This is a game changer! He didn't know anyone besides his dad could use this, pleading with him to show him how to do it. Yamcha swells with pride as he proclaims that he isn't just using the Kaioken, he's perfected it to a whole new level. For starters, however, he can teach him the basics. Though it must be said that it's not as easy as it looks. Goten is welcome to give him his best shot how he thinks is performed, but he should expect a bit of a learning curve. This reality doesn't do anything to shatter the boy's optimism. He enthusiastically smiles as he shouts out, "Here it goes! Kaioken!" Unfortunately, and predictably, Goten instantly falls to the ground upon trying to bring out this technique. He didn't expect it to be this draining. This feeling, it's pretty heavy. The Wolf Master figured this would happen. He enlightens that the Kaioken isn't like turning into a Super Saiyan. It requires perfect ki control and a calm, clear mind. In fact, rage and anger will only drain his stamina. Once he attains the ability to quiet his mind, the Kaioken can be used almost indefinitely. That was pretty good for a first try though. He managed to gather a lot of information simply by observing it in the few opportunities he's been given. And he shouldn't worry about this misstep. It's to be expected. So once he catches his breath, he can give it another go. Looking like he just had the fight of his life, the student does his best to listen to his teacher's wisdom. He's not gonna lie though, he really thought this was gonna be easy. Closing his eyes, the young man does his best to focus, letting his usual emotions fall to the wayside. And looking on with excitement, his master appreciates his attention to detail. Sinking his power to the best of his ability, we're met with a scene very similar to when Goku used this technique. When someone interrupts him, completely throwing him off his focus. Whoever it may be, he calls one of our heroes a thief. Crashing to the earth and showing a furious expression. Not only is this not a character we've seen before, but possibly a new race of warrior altogether, taking characteristics from Namekians, demons, and humans all. He snarls to Yamcha that he is the one, the thief. He will repossess the power this vermin stole. A little annoyed, the Wolf Master exclaims for this guy to listen here. He may have been a bandit years ago, but he's no thief. Who the heck does this guy think he is anyway? Meanwhile, we cut away to Dende and Piccolo keeping surveillance on the planet. Piccolo brings up the fact that there's been a lot of activity on Earth as of late, especially coming from those outsiders. Dende noticed the same. But they haven't been causing too much, if any, trouble, so he figured it was best to simply keep an eye on them from afar. But something intense catches the Elder Namekian's lens. He beckons if the Guardian feels that. Not so much the power, but the feel of it. He hasn't felt something so outright evil since Majin Buu was freed. And of course, his other also immediately takes note of it. But who is that? He felt Yamcha powering up, as well as Goten. But there's someone else with him now, someone completely unfamiliar. Piccolo takes it upon himself to not let the situation linger. He telepathically contacts the boys, making sure they can hear him. He demands that they both come to the lookout right now. Also letting Yamcha in on the warning, who tells the student to go ahead and get out of here. He's got this guy. It'll be a piece of cake. More or less obeying, Goten simply tells his teacher to be careful. Blasting off, Yamcha takes a stance and is ready to get back to business with this mysterious invader. With Trunks, he explains that was his friend who just spoke to him. If he's saying to get to the lookout, that means it must be important and he needs to go meet him now. Who ironically implores him to go. He himself has something he must see to first. After then, he'll find Trunks afterwards. Flying off before Saiyan Comrade even has the chance to, he bids him goodbye. Leaving our hero's anxiety to grow about the key he's feeling. It's so dark. He better get to the lookout fast to find out what's going on. Facing off against the sinister presence. While appearing confident, Yamcha knows he needs to end this as quick as possible. But what did the Wolfang warrior do to anger this man so horribly? Did he inadvertently cross his path while undergoing his training the last few years? Or is this simply a long time coming for something he did in his past that may end terribly for the former bandit? I will kill you! As the demon furiously attacks the newly appointed Turtle Master. Tapion spectates the battle from not far away. Does he intend to join the fight, or could he somehow know this man? As Yamcha is able to dodge and weave everything his foe throws at him, Tapion doesn't believe that the Horned One will be able to land even a single blow given the Earthling's speed. But there's always room for error. Skidding across the desert floor, our super cool hero scolds himself to focus. It's hard to keep his mind on the task at hand without random dudes staring from the mountain. He keeps getting distracted, thinking he could be in league with the demon guy here. Continuing to watch, the Elven Warrior recognizes this technique as the afterimage. Unbeknownst to him, this is something Yamcha is already very familiar with. Rushing in, he merely senses for his opponent's ki, much to the distress of Tapion. Enabling him to lay down a massive elbow to the invader's stomach. Cursing him, the demon cackles that his name is Paruka, the strongest of his clan. He will crush his adversary and take back what he stole. Causing Yammers to again spout that he's worked honestly for everything he's ever obtained, barring a couple years back in his youth. Narrowing his eyes, he pauses for a moment, before peering behind him and bashing his foe as a demon. But demon, the man can't believe what he's hearing. How dare he disrespect his clan? He has no idea who he's up against, screaming for him to perish. As the aggressor launches presumably his most powerful blast, Yamcha merely stands confidently in its wake. Powering up to a Kaioken times 20.
You arrogant fool!
Wolf Warrior is able to convincingly get the upper hand. After sending his opposite soaring with a flying kick, he powers up his signature Spirit Ball. Showing absolutely no mercy. Looks like that may have done it. But in the aftermath of a ×20 Kaioken, Yamcha is a bit winded. Letting himself plummet to the ground, he smiles and exudes a sigh of relief. His whole body is shaking. It's been a while since he had to go ×20. When Tapion finally decides to announce his arrival, he calls out that was an impressive display he just put on. But still with his mind focused on the battle, it seems the Z-Fighter totally spaced that there was another stranger in the area. Landing next to him, he shouts, "Sheesh, man! Don't sneak up on me like that! Next time a warning would be nice!" Apparently sensing this man is no threat, he then apologizes that was rude of him. He introduces himself properly by name. He is the master of the Turtle School of Martial Arts. He figured this Mohawk dude must be one of the new guys on the planet. He sensed him helping the boys earlier. If he were to guess, he's training Trunks. Confirming his assumptions with a bit of a stank, Tapion takes the moment to also introduce himself. It seems that the two of them have a lot to talk about. Adding to this, Yamcha agrees and doesn't think they have a whole lot of time to get to the bottom of this. Chomping down on a senzu to get his energy back, he ushers for his new ally to follow and he'll take him to where the boys went off to. With whom, Goten arrives at the lookout. Dende and Piccolo greet him with anticipation. They explain that Trunks has been in the time chamber for at least 10 minutes now. By their calculations, he already has a 4-day head start in his training. Goten should hurry and head in as well. But the son of Goku brushes this off, chirping he'd rather wait. The two of them agreed to train on their own, and he's not going back on his word now. And up until training with Whis, this seems to mirror how Goku and Vegeta would always go about their progression as well. By the way, he mentions, do either of them know who that guy Yamcha is fighting is? They don't. Not yet, at least. But Yamcha and the man Trunks was with earlier are on their way here, so with any luck, they'll have their answer soon. This leaves us with the lingering question of what could be so serious it could cause Piccolo to immediately want both Goten and Trunks training in the Room of Spirit and Time. Best guess is he can sense that Lada, the warrior who is the same race as Beerus, is much too powerful for anyone on Earth to currently take on. Of course, with Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan currently on their own adventure with Beerus and Whis, it wouldn't be long before everyone else made their way to the palace. Landing, Goten shouts to Yamcha that he knew he'd kick his butt. But this red-haired guy, what's he doing here? The former tells Tapion here couldn't help but show up and compliment him on his awesome abilities. He also brought him up to speed on everything that's been happening. Curious, Piccolo presses him to enlighten the group on exactly what is going on. Happy to do so. Yamcha says that he's come from another, but cutting him off, the elf believes it would be best for him to tell his own story himself. You see, years ago. As he does this, we join Trunks in his training. The boy catches his breath as he thinks to himself that this is the first time he's been alone in here. He remembers going into the gravity room with his dad ever since he could walk. But the time chamber, it's so quiet. All he can hear is the echoes of his own thoughts. In fact, he's already lost track of how long he's been in here. Must be days now. Maybe even weeks. All he can focus on is how tired he is. Though he does try to make the most of this. He wonders if he'd be able to stay in Super Saiyan form while sleeping. He wants to master it perfectly, even better than Goku and Gohan. Probably causing Vegeta to angrily grump somewhere out there in the universe. But if he can learn the ins and outs of the form, then going Super Saiyan 2 should be all the easier. Yeah, it should be. No, it will be! Meanwhile, back in the desert, it looks like Paruka is far from defeated, as another voice requests a mission report. He utters that it seems like they've underestimated these humans. But the first voice states back, this time more curt. What he said to the captain was mission report. Did that human beat the hearing out of him? Standing, he calmly replies no, Commander Lamu. He heard him just fine, who then urges him to keep talking. Only getting a glimpse of this new foe. We're then brought back to the lookout, right as Tapion ends his story. Though something triggers in Goten's mind. So what he just said explains how he and Lada got here, but how does he know that devil-looking guy, the one Yamcha is fighting? While that man might look like the devil, he's not. He's part of a race of beings that lived in a galaxy next to Tapion's own. They're called Osirians. Unfortunately, their planet died out a while back. In time, they became creatures of the dark who wanted nothing more than to conquer others. For centuries on planet Kanat, or Kanatsu, there were legends about them. One in particular mentioned that if they were ever able to complete their quest for supremacy, the entire universe would be plunged into darkness and all life destroyed. Their mothers would scare them with bedtime stories about the evils of planet Osira. The one that Yamcha fought is called Paruka. He is the captain of the Osirian Elite Squadron. Tapion has encountered him a few times and has heard many horrible stories. One thing that he can say is now that he's here, they have a big problem when seeming to sense something horrific. He informs the others that he must go, but to tell Trunks he'll come back. Exiting, Goten wonders where he's going. It's like he felt something. Should they go and help him? Yamcha doesn't think so. If he needed help, he would have asked. Piccolo thinks he actually knows where he's going. As he beelines away, Tapion knows this key signature. What is Lada doing? They used to use this exact method to let each other know when they were in trouble and needed help. Given the present circumstances, this doesn't make sense. Finding himself face to face with his one-time sister. Showing a smile, she motions for him to follow her. Touching down close by, she reveals that she needed him to come alone. They don't need to make another mess. Things are muddy enough as it is. Tapion figures that's why she used that key signature in particular. Though she isn't in the mood to get all sentimental with small talk. Those demons are here. The relic is too, and they know it. The relic she refers to is mentioned earlier when she fought Tapion and the boys. While he is aware, one of this planet's warriors already faced Paruka. But why did they follow her here? With a frustrated grimace, she questions, "Followed me?" No, she followed them. She's going to kill every single one of them for what they did to her father. Reprimanding her, he inquires what he would think of her doing this, seeking vengeance against the Osirians, killing those who get in her way. What has she become? She's destroyed countless lives at this point. Another thing she's furious about being accused of. He thinks that she did all of that she destroyed all those worlds. She's been following those monsters for the last 5 years. She's been hoping to destroy the relic and put an end to all of this. How dare he accuse her of genocide? They didn't even spare the children who got in their way. Shouting match continues as her brother refuses to believe that she didn't kill all those people. He knows she was there. He saw the trail of destruction she left behind. He saw her standing next to the bodies. So enough lies. Jin taught them better than this. Something she claims she wouldn't know. Her father treated him like a son. He gave him everything and sent her away. While Tapion was learning magic tricks with that peace-loving old man, Lada was out there training to get stronger. Finally allowing a pause in the yelling, the elven warrior simply states that her father was a great man. But she's had enough of this. Not exactly helping her case of non-aggressor. She charges after Tapion, screaming that he just doesn't know when to quit, does he? Knocking him into the middle of a road. He knows this isn't good. Not here, Lada! XaetherAeonx tries to get as far away as he can from innocent life. Is Lada truly lying about her reasons for being here? Is she seeking revenge against the Osirians for what they did to her father? And why do they seem to blame Yamcha in particular?